and 922-4115. You can listen to both sides of the story on the Gleaner's website, www.go-jamaica.com, on your mobile phones at tunein.com or nobex.com, or by dialing 832-551-5045 or 213-493-0133 in the USA. If you're in the UK, you can dial 020-3519-0145, and in Germany 051-180-904044. Our email address is bothsides106@live.com, and you can join us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, or link us up on Skype. We look forward to receiving your instant messages on MSN or Yahoo, and your text messages on 365-3346. Remember, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we can listen twice as much as we speak. So stay with us as we listen to both sides of the story.
Both sides of the story. Both sides of the story. Both sides of the story. Both sides of the story.
Knowledge is power. Class is in session. Power 106.
How do I love thee? Let me count the ways. I love thee to the depth and breadth and height my soul can reach when feeling out of sight for the ends of being and ideal grace. I love thee to the level of every day's most quiet need by sun and candlelight. I love thee freely as men strive for right. I love thee purely as they turn from praise. I love thee with a passion put to use in my old griefs and with my childhood's faith. I love thee with a love I seemed to lose with my lost saints. I love thee with a breath, smiles, tears of all my life, and if God choose, I shall but love thee better after death.
Some say love, it is a river that drowns the tender reed. Some say love, it is a rain that leaves you alone to breathe. Some say love, it is a hunger, an endless aching need. I say love, it is a flower, and you, it's only seed. It's the heart afraid of breaking that never learns to dance. It's the dream afraid of waking that never takes the chance. It's the one who won't be taken, who cannot seem to give, and the soul afraid of dying that never learns to live. When the night has beneath the bitter snow lies the seed that with the sun's love in the spring becomes the rose.
2021 to 2030 is the International Decade of Healthy Aging, the International Decade of Ecosystem Restoration, the International Decade of Ocean Science for Sustainable Development, and the Decade of Action for Road Safety. It's the 14th day of the 7th month of 2021, the International Year of Peace and Trust, the International Year of Creative Economy for Sustainable Development, the International Year of Fruits and Vegetables, the International Year for the Elimination of Child Labor, and the International Year of Health and Care Workers. Put another way, it's the 13th day of the second month of the 2021 Atlantic hurricane season. And according to the weather report, there's a high pressure ridge across the Gulf of Mexico, and there is a high pressure ridge across Jamaica. There's also a low level jet stream, that narrow band of fast flowing wind in the lower levels of the atmosphere, which is across the central Caribbean. The ridge and the jet stream will remain across the region today. Tomorrow, Thursday, a trough will move across the central Caribbean, including Jamaica. The ridge is expected to rebuild quickly later on Friday. The forecast for the rest of this afternoon, partly cloudy and windy, possible isolated showers across sections of southwestern parishes. Tonight, partly cloudy, mainly across sections of northern parishes. M-Line Pankhurst Day is being observed in the UK. Some say Emmeline Pankhurst Day being observed in the UK. The Fandoana Bathing Festival is on in Madagascar. The Crown Princess's birthday is being celebrated in Sweden. It's a national day in Iraq and a Turkmen Bakshi holiday in Turkmenistan. Et enfin, c'est la fête nationale française en France. Hoy es miércoles el 14 de julio 2021 y les saludamos en cualquier parte del mundo que nos están escuchando en este momento. Estamos muy agradecidos por el don de la vida y el privilegio de servirles en otra edición de su programa Both Sides of the Story, ambos lados de la historia. Nunca vamos a tomar su audiencia por sentado porque sabemos que ustedes tienen otras opciones. Y esta es la razón por la cual jamás olvidamos darle las gracias por elegir Both Sides of the Story, ambos lados de la historia, de lunes a viernes desde las 2 hasta las 5 de la tarde, aquí en Power 106 FM. La misión continua para educar, capacitar, iluminar y estimular el espíritu empresarial. Bienvenidos. C'est mercredi le 14 juillet 2021 et nous vous saluons tous qui nous écoutez où que vous soyez dans le monde. Nous sommes reconnaissants du don de la vie ainsi que du privilège d'être à votre service pour une nouvelle édition de votre programme Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre. Nous ne considérons pas votre fidélité comme l'un de soi parce que nous savons que vous avez l'embarras du choix. C'est pourquoi nous n'oublions jamais de vous remercier de choisir d'écouter Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre, du lundi au vendredi de 2h à 5h de l'après-midi sur notre antenne Power 106 FM. Nous continuons notre mission d'éduquer, d'habiliter, d'éclairer et d'encourager l'esprit d'entreprise. Bienvenue. All we're saying is it's Wednesday, the 14th of July, 2021, and we greet you well wherever in the world you are listening to us right now. We remain eternally grateful for the gift of life and the privilege to serve you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story. We don't ever take your listenership for granted because we know you have choices. And that's why we never ever forget to remember to say thanks for choosing to listen to both sides of the story, Monday to Friday, 2 to 5, right here on Power 106 FM. The mission continues to educate, empower, enlighten, and encourage entrepreneurship. Welcome.
Afraid of dying, that never learns to live.
Good afternoon to those listening to us on 106.1, 106.3, 106.5, 106.7, and 106.9. From Moran Point to Negril Point, from the Goat Islands to Galena Point. This is Power 106 FM, serving Jamaica and the diaspora. Hello to those tuned in via the Power 106 FM app, which you would have downloaded from the App Store or the Google Play Store, depending on the nature of your device. Downloading is free, listening is free, whenever, wherever. We thank those who have dialed a designated number to listen to Power 106 FM for being a part of the experience. If you're in the United States or the United Kingdom, listen up for the numbers you can dial to listen to Power 106 FM. If you're in the United States and you wish to dial a number to listen to Power 106 FM, your number is 631 359 8281. 631 359 8281. For those in the United Kingdom who wish to dial a number to listen to Power 106 FM, your number is 0330 606 0953. 0330 606 0953. We're all over social media: Facebook, Twitter, Skype, Instagram, LinkedIn, BBM, Yahoo Messenger, Tango, WhatsApp, Snapchat, TikTok, and whatever other platforms you've found to connect with us. We're streaming live video on the Dervan Malcolm Facebook page and affiliated pages. If you're not there yet, log on to Facebook. In the search box atop the page, type DERVAN MALCOLM, and you'll be able to watch both sides of the story. If you don't have a Facebook account, there's always YouTube. Go to YouTube. You should see this video trending. If it's not trending, just type DERVAN MALCOLM, and you'll be good to go. famously known as How Do I Love Thee by the woman regarded as the greatest female poet who ever lived, Elizabeth Barrett Browning, who has family connections to Jamaica. We followed that up with The Rose by Bette Midler. And the essential point being there is the need for more love, as we have been saying. More love. If we had more love, then we would need less laws. Think about it. More love, less laws. Because there is a level of discipline required when it comes on to love and loving, isn't there? Yeah. And with the developments, legislative developments with respect to sexual harassment, whether at the workplace or otherwise, there's a lot of discussion and a lot of debate. But the truth is, any man who claims to love a woman or to love women shouldn't need to be told how to treat a woman. But unfortunately, because a lot of our boys are grown by women, and unless we're going to educate mothers as to how to raise gentlemen, and remember the first part of that word doesn't mean soft and sopsy and whatever else you may think. It means cultured. Cultured. A gentleman is a cultured individual, an individual who is measured in his expressions, an individual who gives respect and is himself respected, an individual who knows how to treat a lady. Well, you can start by learning how to treat a woman, but a woman, as we like to say, woman is, let's start from the beginning. Female is biological, woman is chronological, lady is cultural. So, biologically speaking, you have a female. So, female, biological, straight biology. Your characteristics, your makeup are what constitute who is a woman. So, female. So, it's female. Female is biological. Woman is chronological. Chronology has to do with time. So it's based on your age that you're a woman. At 18, you're a woman. So woman is chronological. Lady is cultural. That's the highest level. That's the highest level. Lady, being a lady, knowing how to sit. Yes, knowing how to sit. Knowing how to, let's just put it in Jamaican terms, put yourself together in a ladylike manner. Of course, that is subjective to a lot of people, but essentially, it's just carrying yourself with a level of respect, which will then cause others to respect you, as opposed to losing respect for you by virtue of how you carry yourself. And on the other side, it follows, therefore, male is biological, man is chronological, gentleman is cultural. A gentleman is a cultured individual. A lady is a cultured individual. You can always debate what are the features and what would be involved in these things. But clearly, we would have to school our mothers. But this is why the the business of the family, the idea of the family, the original idea being man, woman, children. And if you're together in the same household, then you're going to learn from each other. So based on how daddy treats mommy, the son takes his cue, the SON. The boy takes a cue from how daddy treats mommy. And the girl takes a cue from how mommy treats daddy. And the children themselves take their cue from how their parents treat them. Now, when we find ourselves in a dysfunctional society, especially where family is concerned, then the lines become blurred and everything is mixed up and it's all over the place, almost chaotic. But the popular culture is always there. So where any form of structure is non-existent, like the structure of the family, in the absence of that, kind of structure, the individuals attached to that family are going to take on characteristics from popular culture, or depending on and whatever they have left as far as parents are concerned, or those who have any idea about what parenting is. And so if I see in my community in Jamaica, the term is man a galas woman. You throw your hand around the neck. Come here, gal. That kind of an attitude. Then why shouldn't the youngsters do that? That's what they're seeing. There was a time in this country where the biggest thing was to be able to say to what we call in Jamaica lyrics, to be able to catch the attention of the female with some kind of smart remark or witty comment, or maybe a bit of poetry, or the days of writing love letters. Anybody remembers those days? Love letters, that kind of thing. And you nurture the relationship, and you work on it, you build it, you water it like a plant. So you become friends before anything else. I'll always remember asking Mrs. Reese, one of our regular listeners. She celebrated, she and her husband celebrated, what was it, 50 years of marriage. And I asked her what was the secret. And the answer was pretty simple. She said, I married my friend. I married my friend. There's something about that. If you think about it, a friend is somebody who you tell virtually everything. Anybody who you regard as your best friend or your bestie or your brethren or your bona fide, you tell that person virtually everything. Things that you wouldn't tell your spouse, you tell that person, because you say that person is your bona fide. Now, can you imagine if your spouse was that bona fide? In other words, if that spouse, before that spouse became spouse, that spouse was your friend, bona fide, bestie. When that when that relationship then develops and grows, when that friendship grows and evolves into a relationship, it's supposed to get better. This is your friend, this is your bona fide, this is your bestie that you're getting married to. And he or she would have known virtually everything about you already. The essence of what we're saying is, let's try our best to nurture, for those of us who are just starting out on the road, to nurture such, to establish strong friendships. Those friendships will then become lasting relationships. That's what we're humbly submitting. Friendships that become lasting relationships. Whatever we can salvage at this stage, let us try. Let us try. But respect is due. None of us has any right to invade anybody's space. You have your space, I have mine. We don't invade each other's space. You don't touch someone without their permission. It's just not done. It's not supposed to be. It's not supposed to be. And you have men who say, boy, if a man ever touch my girl, ooh, what? You want to see? You don't know. But he is prepared to touch somebody else's spouse without that individual's permission. We must decide, whether male or female, who we allow into our space. And that space is a very close place. Almost face to face, if not directly, face to face. You don't want everybody up in your face. No. You make a decision. It's just basic respect. RESPECT. That's what it is. One moment, please.
Jamaica is a massive African. Let's do it. Let's grow what we need. As what we do. Find out what it means to me. R-E-S-P-E-C-T. Take out T-C-T. Sock it to me, sock it to me, sock it to me, Zachary say. Sock it to me, sock it to me, sock it to me. Ooh, hey, little bit, Zachary say. Just a little bit. I get tired. Little bit, keep on trying. Just a little bit. I run it out of food. Little bit, I ain't lying. Just a little bit.
Respect. Apparently, Otis Redding was one of the writers on that song, for that song. Respect, Aretha Franklin. Just a little respect. And we're talking for both sides here. Both sides need to respect each other. And the higher the level of respect, the greater the level of respect, the more harmonious the relationship. And not to mention trust, Trust. Trust is critical. Let's think on the program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. And we did hear the Minister of Justice asking all of us to be careful in terms of how we interpret the legislation. And but you should know, we should know, as people, we need to demonstrate a level of emotional intelligence and a level of mindfulness. So we should know there are some people, those of you listening to us at work now, there are some people at work that you wouldn't, as we say in Jamaica, run certain joke with. There are certain people at work, you know they don't play around when it comes on to certain things. They don't run, you can't run certain jokes. So in other words, as we like to say on this program, in our day-to-day relations and relationships and friendships, etc., let us seek first to understand than to be understood. Let us seek first to understand than to be understood. And each individual must have a level of control and command of his or her space to determine who enters that space. That is important. And we must have a sense of mindfulness to know what is acceptable and what is not. As my late mother would say, the frog said, what is joke to you is death to him. So let's be mindful. Yes, you might have a particular type of relationship with a co-worker, and which allows you to behave a certain way around that co-worker, for example. But then with another co-worker, it might be a different story. Nothing wrong with that, as long as both sides agree that these are the parameters within which we operate in this relationship, whatever the nature and extent of that relationship. Which is why it's rather shocking for some people to come to this country and see so-called loader men grabbing on to females of all different ages and to use the Jamaican word, broughtopsy. Now imagine someone who is not accustomed to that kind. There are some people who love to crowd people. You crowd around people. Not everybody, I don't even want to use the word enjoy, but not everyone is amenable to that kind of crowding. people who crowd, they come into your space. And especially in this day and age of physical distancing, or as some say, social distancing. That is important, not only for the sake of our health, but just generally. You don't want to be all over, up in somebody's face and all over somebody. No, man, give people space. Unless you are invited into that space, that's a different story. And of course, there's this long-held thing about no means yes and all that. We need to be very clear as human beings, very clear about how far we allow anyone to go with us. That must be absolutely clear. And that no must mean no. Situations are different depending on the nature of the relationship, and you're engaging in playful, loving, romantic exercises. That's a different thing. When you reach out to a total stranger, to touch a total stranger, or attempt to fondle a total stranger, that's problematic now. That's problematic. And we need to get to the point where we respect people and respect their space. That's tough for our culture, because our culture is just everybody itch up, to use the Jamaican term, itch up on one another. We love the itch up. We love the, my late mother would say, we love the carousing. Yeah. And invariably, some kind of carousing will make you frowsy. I'm just saying. Because some people don't properly take care of themselves in terms of hygiene. But seriously. And that's not something you would go shouting from the mountaintop. If you have a friend or colleague who has hygiene issues, the key thing is just to find a space. Don't do it over the phone. Don't shout it across the room, but to find a space and time to say to your friend, if that is really your friend, hey, the thing I kick, you know, the thing I kick like Matlock, or something like that, to get the point through. In other words, whatever we do, let's do it with a tinge of love, respect, and yeah, life becomes a little more livable, don't you think? All right, we've been going for a while now. Let's clear some messages as we thank you for making it both sides of the story. Power 106 FM. Shines for Life Law says blessings all round at Uncle D. Manners and respect. Manners and respect to you too. Shines for Life Law. Jeannie Chambers, good afternoon to you. Thanks for tuning in. Jones Dolores says, good day, Dervan and friends. Watching from hot Sacramento, California. I can feel that heat, Jones Dolores. I remember on a couple of trips to California, especially that first trip to California when we went to cover Tessan Chin's exploits in Los Angeles, California, in The Voice. Yeah, the sun was like a furnace. It's like we were cooking. Yeah, so we can understand the heat. Jones Dolores, good afternoon to you and all the other Jamaicans and friends of Jamaica in Sacramento, California. Cherry Henry, good afternoon to you too. Cherry Henry says, good afternoon, Mr. Dervan and listeners. Nice day here in Tar Isle, St. Mary. Good to know it's a nice day in Tar Isle, St. Mary, Cherry Henry. Jones Dolores, thank you for the kind words. Jessica, the undefeated Malcolm says, buenas tardes. Hola, Mr. Malcolm. Wishing you a blessed day. I'm tuned in. Thank you very much. Good to have you joining us, Jessica. Chen Su Cheryl says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. Love the many languages. You are a breath of fresh air to listen to. Great job. Thank you very much, Chen Su Cheryl. You're very kind. Neriga Smart Morgan 7 says, greetings, Sir Malcolm and listeners. Yesterday was a great topic. The children as a certified early childhood caregiver, I'm telling you, when it comes on to the children, there my love and passion is, especially the special needs ones. And so I am thanking my teacher at the Paul Bogle Vacation Institute in License Morant Bay, thanks to Miss Brown and Principal Miss Williams, my friend Sherez, and thanks to all of the friends and families who had helped me to make all of this, who helped me to make all of this possible. I'm so grateful for you all, and thanks to the Almighty. Thank you very much for your message. Neriga, oh, she has sent us a rejoinder here. Neriga Smart Morgan 7. She says, Mr. Malcolm, I love when you say, do you know where your children are? I listen for that especially. Well, so it is. We always need to know where the children are. As my late mother would say, children don't know them danger. And they don't actually, because they haven't been, their maturity has yet to be fully functional. I love that word, functional. Love functionality. Yeah, and so well, let's take the break and come back.
Guess what? So is my money. All I want you to do for me.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:45.
You asked, we listened. You said you wanted back the additional hour. Dear Pastor returns to its usual time from 10 p.m. until midnight.
Oh boy,
Your thoughts on topical issues, relationship matters, questions you want answered, pertinent advice, it all comes together on Dear Pastor with Reverend Dr. Aaron Dumas.
Hello.
Hello, Pastor.
Yes.
Can I ask you a question?
Well, you may ask me a question. I may or may not answer.
He returns to keep your company from 10 p.m. until midnight, right here on Power 106 FM.
I'm out to give it all my money.
RESPECT. Respect. And that's actually a Jamaican thing. It is actually a Jamaican thing, thanks to Rastafari. Good afternoon to all Rastafarians tuned in to both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. That culture of respect was nurtured, part of a significant enough portion of it, nurtured and cultured by Rastafarians. Respect, respect, respect. Without the T, of course, because this is Jamaica. Respect, respect. And even to this day, people say respect, respect my youth. Respect us, respect. We are some mommy, respect mommy, respect. So that is actually supposed to be a part of our DNA here in Jamaica, in a big way. The business of not, as my mother would say, you don't just step past people without saying good morning. You don't have to know them to tell them good morning. I know we live in a different world now, and we're still not doing too badly here in Jamaica in that regard. In other countries of the world, for the most part, although people respond, they do respond, assuming they hear you and they're not plugged in. Sometimes people are plugged in and you don't realize that they're in their own world of music or whatever else they're listening to. That's actually part of our culture. Respect my youth. Respect. That's a Jamaican thing. It needs to be more meaningful. We need to, those of us who have been saying it in an empty way, we need to add meaning to it now. Meaning. Yes, let's add meaning to it. Chantal Da Costa says, good day, Mr. Malcolm. I can never stop listening to your program. You are phenomenal. You are my linguistic tutor. Very kind, Chantal. Thank you very much. And hello to Charlene Kelly, she's greeting us in French. Bon après-midi, she says, which is good afternoon. Bon après-midi to you too, Charlene. Today is a significant day in French history. Those of us who studied French and learned a bit of the culture and the history, we know that today is Bastille Day, la fête nationale en France. And let's tell you about it. La fête La fête nationale française, le 14 juillet ou 14 juillet, est la fête nationale de la France. Elle a lieu à cette date, le 14 juillet, depuis 1880. Elle commémore la fête de la Fédération en 1790. Le fait étant de marquer notamment la fin de la monarchie absolue, ainsi que le premier anniversaire de la prise de la Bastille. C'est un jour férié. Le 14 juillet ou 14 juillet donne lieu à un défilé des troupes sur les Champs-Élysées, à des défilés, des cérémonies militaires dans la plupart des communes et à des feux d'artifice. Essentially, what I just said was that Bastille Day is the French National Day, which is celebrated on the 14th of July each year. In France, it is formally called La Fête Nationale, the national celebration, and commonly le 14 juillet, the 14th of July. It commemorates the 1790 Fête de la Fédération, held on the first anniversary of the storming of the Bastille on July 14, 1789. The anniversary of the storming of the Bastille fortress prison was seen as a symbol of the uprising of the modern nation and of the reconciliation of all the French inside the constitutional monarchy, which preceded the First Republic during the French Revolution. Festivities and official ceremonies are held all over France. The oldest and largest regular military parade in Europe is held on the morning of the 14th of July on the Champs-Élysées Avenue at Paris. The Champs-Élysées Avenue in Paris, and there's usually a lot of fireworks. I'm going to check in to find out later on how things have been, what has been the nature and extent of the celebration as far as the telegram there's a bit on the wrong side of what it's about. Hope you're hearing. Let's continue with the messages. Andrea Brown McNeish says, good afternoon, Dervan Malcolm audience. Good afternoon, Andrea Brown McNeish. Ines Campbell Brown was calling out for audio. And Kathy Kelly is greeting us in Mandarin. I'm very impressed, Kathy Kelly. Xiao Hao, she's saying, which means good afternoon. Good morning is Zhao Shan Hao. Zhao Shan Hao. And afternoon, especially early afternoon, is Xiao Hao. Xiao Hao. And the evening is Wan Shan Hao. Wan Shan Hao. And the night is Wan An. Wan An. Easy to remember. Just think Wan An can clap. night. 1 an. That's night in Mandarin. Henhao, Henhao. Very good, very good. Henhao. Says it's not only Charlie learning languages from his happy to know you're learning. Thank you very much. 谢谢, 谢谢. That's Mandarin, that's Chinese for that. Thank you. 谢谢. Go a step further and say 谢谢你, 谢谢你, 谢谢你. Or just 谢谢, 谢谢. And depending on what part of China you're from, you either say si or she. So the Chinese Prime Minister is Xi Jinping. Xi Jinping. Xi. Right. And right. So it's very smart word. So having problem here to understand this word just right. Thank you. Working out says 9 is on the road. Eriga Smart said. Eriga Smart Morning says save what's happening on my end as well. 9 is on the road says I have to check both devices to make sure it's correct. It is. No, it is. Always a bit on the low side. It says 9 is on the road. It's 9. Granny Bell says, good day, blessings to you all, to you too. Granny Bell in St. Thomas, Sophia Nemar, good afternoon. Granny Bell says, we're not hearing it. Very good. We hope that's better now. Granny Bell, Junior Jabari says, there's a term this morning. Please check the answer. Please check your notes. Something is off today. It's the same system unless we turn it up too loud. I don't know. But it's the same system, the same settings. And it's a rough one today, says Nariga Smart Morgan 7. Dervan, help over here. The audio is gone, says Junior Jabari. All right, let's check and see what's happening. Let's go straight to the source and see what is happening here as far as the connections. Here we go. As the connections are concerned. Yeah, sounds normal. In just a moment. And that's Facebook. We're just playing it from Facebook Live. Let's go over to YouTube. Let's go to YouTube and hear what the sound is like there. One, two, three, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Right, so that's a feedback into the mic. But yeah, it's okay now. I'm not sure what's happening or not happening, but it seems fine on our end. Velta Wilson in St. Thomas says, we're not hearing you, Mr. Malcolm, which is odd because I'm hearing. I just played it live on air, both Facebook Live and YouTube. Lady Jean in Monique St. Anne says, Dervan, good afternoon. Terrible distortions on the feed. Ricardo in Glengoff St. Catherine says, stay safe, everyone. Junior Jabari says, it's back now, thank God. Well, I'm sorry to hear. I'm not sure what's the source of those distortions, but we're happy you're hearing okay. No, right. Let's continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Let's take a look at YouTube, see what's happening over there. Ricardo in Glengoff St. Catherine, greeting everybody as usual. Lorna Savage says, good afternoon, Sir D and all at Power 106. Respect. Errol in Maryland says, good afternoon, Sir D. No sound coming through YouTube. Lynn Bailey says, Sir D, Lynn here from Jamaica. Sound very low, next to nothing. Popping in and out. Errol in Maryland says, okay now. Lynn Bailey says, sound now back, Sir D. Thanks, Winston. Same problem with the sound, very low. Good afternoon to you and your listeners, Dervan. Can't hear you today. Working good now. Not sure what's happening or not happening, but we'll have to check that at the earliest opportunity. Can't check it right now. Can't check it right now. But in terms of other than what we have done already. All right, let's move on. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. Lady Jean says, Durban, all is well now. Thanks. I missed the pronunciations you were saying, says Junior Jabari. We were just sharing some Mandarin with you. We were saying good morning is 早上好,早上好,早上好,早上好. That's good morning. Good afternoon is 下午好,下午好,下午好. Good evening would be 晚上好,晚上好. And yeah, night is 晚安,晚安.
The Time by Medical Disposables and Supplies Limited, an official distributor of 3M Healthcare Solutions, 83 Hagley Park Road, Kingston 10, is 3 p.m. Welcome to the new dimension in eye care, the Optical Zone, offering exceptionally comfortable eyewear. We fill prescriptions and do eye examinations. This complete optical store is conveniently located at Shop 14, York Plaza, Halfway Tree. Telephone 929-8656. The Optical Zone, providing vision for life.
Just a little bit, hey, baby, just a little bit. Oh, just a little bit, mister, just a little bit.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. A couple of messages from yesterday before we get to today's feedback from you. Good day, Mr. Dervan. In response to Mr. Ward, I think you mean Ambassador Ward, if we beg, you hear how we beggy. If we don't beg is another argument. Country cannot run off remittances, neither tourism. We need to do our own production from our own creations. A little of everything else on the side will help. We need to live off our own sweat. Dell. Thank you, Miss Dell, for your message. That's what the great Robert Lightburn knew, and that's why he did what he did in trying to industrialize Jamaica, and he succeeded in the industrialization of Jamaica. We used to make a lot of things here in Jamaica. We used to make Philips TV sets in Jamaica, the razor blades up at Papine. We used to make toothpaste here in Jamaica. We used to make tires here in Jamaica. The list is longer than that, actually. It's a long list, and we always like to go through. I mean, St. Thomas alone, which was Robert Lightburn's parish, St. Thomas alone had a countless production enterprises in that parish, which we have shared before on this program. Thank you very much, Miss Dell, for your message. We continue to salute the great Robert Lightburn on the basis of his work, which is in the annals of history for all to see. Keeping it rolling along. Good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. Do you know of the School for Children with Autism? If you have if you something or another, any place announced, I need a special needs place for my daughter. She's sometimes disadvantaged by people in the institution that she was attending. Let's see. There is the School of Hope. There's the School of Hope that comes to mind. You can Google that, School of Hope. There is Genesis Academy. Genesis Academy is another one. Genesis Academy. I'm trying to remember. There are quite a few actually. There's what's the name of that one now? Up to yesterday, I saw a billboard intersection of Waltham Park Road and Malines Road. There's a billboard there. What's the name of that institute? Oh goodness! But I think there's one, or is that a school for the deaf on that road? When you cross over from Waltham Park Road, going into what's the name of that area now? Going into Kasha Park, going across the intersection there. There's a school. I think that's a school for the deaf on that side there. But they have a few institutions if you check around. There's also haven't heard anything of or about or from Maya Chung in a very long time, but she did start a foundation. Let's see. She did start a foundation. I'm not sure if she has an institution, an established institution. Let's see. There's another one that comes to mind. But she's no longer living in Jamaica. There's the Maya, not Maya now. We're not talking about Maya now, but since I've found the information, the Maya Chung Autism and Disabilities Foundation. They have a website as well, Maya Chung Autism and Disabilities Foundation, which is a not-for-profit organization. And there is, I'm going to get into trouble now, just trying to remember all these names. There is as well the Nathan Ebanks. His mom is such a champion, and obviously gaining a lot of strength for years now from her son, Nathan Ebanks. So there's the Nathan Ebanks Foundation for Assistance, and they do have offices here in Jamaica, 71 Knutsford Boulevard, and there's a number 876-942-2075, 876-942-2075. Hope that listener is hearing the information we've been sharing. Hope that listener is hearing. Let's go to the phone lines, 876-922-4112-5. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm.
Good afternoon.
Yes, sir. You are doing a fantastic work.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. What I want to know, I was doing something, Mr. Malcolm. Me was the lady who called you yesterday pertaining to the 10,000 for the old lady. But same as I reached back to where the radio was, I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, because we got some very good information there. Let me see if I can remember anything from that information. I recall that the program doesn't kick in until Friday, this Friday, the 15th.
Okay.
Well, not Friday, sorry. Tomorrow is the 15th. Right, it kicks in tomorrow, the 15th. And you would have to go to a website, wecare.gov.jm. That's www. You don't need to put in www, but just for completeness, www, 3 W's, which stand for World Wide Web. www.wecare, WECARE.gov.jm. That's wecare.gov.jm. You will need your TRN. That's your taxpayer registration number. You will need your TRN and also the information from your vaccination card. You will need the information from your vaccination card as well.
Oh, so where you go with it, Mr. Okay. So she was saying the person who made the appointment for her to take the vaccine, if that person could do it for her, sir.
Of course, she's free to get help.
All right, Mr. Malcolm. And my problem again, Mr. Malcolm, pertaining to, I hear you saying ladies to touch. Some of these ladies, them love skin them teeth when them see man too much, Mr. Malcolm.
But nothing is wrong with kinning them teeth when them see man.
That is not it, Mr. Malcolm. I know what I'm saying. You go into a bar and you see a man, you see when a man see you, Mr. Malcolm.
Well, from you go into a bar, then I guess the picture changes once you've referenced a bar. The picture changes. But anyway, go ahead.
Mr. Malcolm, even on the road, from a man see you, the man know if him can touch you. Some women skin them teeth too much, and some of them, you hear them say, if you play with puppy lick your nose.
Exactly, but skinning your teeth is not necessarily playing with puppy.
I understand, Mr. Malcolm, but plenty of these ladies, they don't want to work too. So anything where the man come and lick you and say you're fat, no, them have to just skin them teeth. So the law must look into that too. Because them give them the upholds to do that. I grew up in the country, Mr. Malcolm, and I married when I was about 20, 27 and me 89. And my husband died about 2 to 3 years ago. And no touching, if it's even to go cut a tree, I just practice to do a little work for myself that are independent. So there's some of them can get too chicken and raise it or pay one man, go do a 2 days work, pay one man to plant little Irish little peanut and independent because the man not when give you the $1,000 not touch you. So if you independent, all him do is see and say, that I mean like you, you know, where I say. And if you know feel the answer, you know answer. But as long as him are taking $1,000, I'm going to touch. So the law will look into that too.
Well, it still doesn't give the individual permission, but I get the point you're making that there, which is, I think I made that earlier on when I spoke about no meaning no, that your posture, it's important. Your posture, how you, when you say no, is an indication of whether you are serious or not.
And Mr. Malcolm, I think is the way how you grow up to.
Yeah, socialization is a part of it, yes.
Sometimes mama in a kitchen in a house and you there in a kitchen and cook your bun pan after dinner. You suppose I never go that way in the country. Me as if it get 6 o'clock, me have to over bed corner side of my mother.
Yeah, so the socialization is different, but the general point we're making is that we must respect each other, and that is loaded. The word respect alone means so much. It's loaded. If we just apply respect, give respect, we will, even without giving it, we will get of how we carry ourselves.
That is, I understand, Mr. Malcolm, but we ladies don't care how small it is. We must learn to independent, Mr. Malcolm. No rat push hands everybody come touch. Can no market you go buy.
Yes, it's not.
And secondly, Mr. Malcolm, this gentleman will come in on the station and crying say him want milk. What kind of milk him crying? Him push milk, breast milk. What kind of milk? And him is a big man. It's a 9. Him must stop it.
Yeah, well,
what kind of milk him want, so?
That there are those of us who experience certain imaginings and have had certain experiences, and sometimes that kind of it comes out in what we say. It perhaps might not be It might just be a quirk of sorts. Something would have happened to that individual, and the individual expresses himself or herself in a particular way, not necessarily intended to offend, but because of one's mental state.
Mr. Malcolm, the amount of milk when me hear him call to from Jesse to Miss Althea Mackenzie, could have go partner with dairy farmer. Because he can't drink off so much milk. And this next lady again, we coming on and say the Almighty tell her. Me is a Christian to Mr. Malcolm, and I go to a church, and Jamaica full up a Christian. Me want to know how me not hear nobody say Almighty. So is that the Lord hate some and love some?
No, well, we've always grown up hearing people talking about God spoke to them, and this is what God told them
You
to
alone, Mr. Malcolm?
No, I'm sure there are others who have that experience. But remember, I think Dr. Leakim Samaj did a survey, a couple of surveys many years ago, indicating that most of the people who listen to radio do not call and will never, ever call. And that there was only a small percentage of people who call, which is why we keep hearing the same voices from radio station to radio station to radio station. It's just a handful of people who actually call talk shows.
Yes, Mr. Malcolm, but no tell me, say, Mr. Malcolm, want somebody God wouldn't speak to in the whole world?
Well, maybe because others who God has appeared to or spoken to or spoken with, they are not prepared to come on air to say that God spoke to them.
Well, Mr. Malcolm, I will be listening. When I'm not working, I want to hear some more people talk. I mean, know say God love everybody. Me want to hear God talk to. Me want him talk to me too. Because you have the Bible say there are many false prophets. I'm not judging anyone, but he say there are many false prophets gone out into the world, and if you don't careful, they will deceive the very elect.
Well, this is why it's important for us to have wisdom. We must seek. Hold on, please.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3:15.
Become the hero on the scene by taking the COVID vaccine. Get vaccinated as soon as you get all the facts. Don't listen to the rumors. This vaccine might just make it possible for teachers to sit face to face with schoolers. This vaccine make it safer for everybody, from the young to the elderly. Don't you want to go back to living normally when things were more orderly? And if you want to live a long good life, then we all have to do what's right. So let's get vaccinated along with the heroes on the front line.
A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Under the Law is now in its 48th year and still helping you to know your rights and how the laws of Jamaica can help you defend those rights. The program is brought to you on Mondays by the Bank of Jamaica, building an inclusive economy. Under the Law at 6:45 and 8:45 a.m. and at 4 and 9:25 p.m. Mondays on Power 106 FM.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Thanks for holding the line, you were saying?
Yes, Mr. Malcolm. Well, I have to go pray more harder because I want the Almighty to talk to me, Mr. Malcolm. But I'm telling you, Mr. Malcolm, it is very annoying about the milk. It is very annoying. Every morning, every evening, so we want milk. Are you not put?
But milk is not scarce, and there's a promotion that has been going on for a few years now, encouraging more of us as Jamaicans to drink milk. In fact, I had my glass of milk today.
Mr. Malcolm, it's not like him promoting the milk, you know, he's saying want the milk. Well, so he's going to ask the milk to see him own himself. He need to stop it.
Well, the host perhaps needs to encourage him to go and get milk if that's what he wants. He doesn't need to come and tell us that he needs milk.
Every morning
to go and get milk.
sometimes me so love Miss Althea and listen to Miss Althea. And every morning he come and hold up the long talking when people want to get in for the program. Me want milk Miss Althea. I run out of milk. And me don't know if I push milk, breast milk or what kind of milk.
Yes.
Him need
No, but
to-
if he's out of milk, he should know where to go and get milk.
And that me I say come every morning I cry like puss. Anyway, Mr. Malcolm, take care, and you are very handsome. I never know so you're handsome.
Oh, you're
Take
very
care.
kind. All the best.
Okay.
This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Junior Jabari is having a good laugh. I'm not sure. Oh, he says, skin them teeth too much. That's what he finds funny. Angela Blagrove is laughing out loud. And she says, so true to one of the comments as well. And people online here are cracking up. Let's see. Mitzi says, hearing now. Curtis says, good afternoon to you and your listeners, Dervan. Can't hear you today. Working good now. Well, I'm not sure what is causing that on and off thing. Curtis says, good afternoon, Sir Malcolm, and everyone everywhere. I'm hearing you very good. Rose McIntosh in London says, blessings, Sir Dervan, and to everyone tuned in. Welcome, Rose McIntosh. And Lynn Bailey is having a good laugh about milk. And so too Mitzi. So they're all enjoying the program, it seems. Let's go to the WhatsApp line, same as the text line, 876 365 3346. 876 365 3346. Looks like Kenneth is trying to reach us, but you won't be able to get in right now, Kenneth, because we have a caller from Florida on the WhatsApp line already. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. How are you doing?
I'm giving thanks for life. And you?
The same thing. Okay, I catch the call late with you on the caller there, but I hear you mention something about there are some of us who say God can talk to us. I grew up to respect the word of God. But
say that again?
Like you said, there are some of us. I catch it later so I don't get the full understanding. They said some of us always say God talk to us.
No, the caller was commenting on it sounds like it would have been Miss Mervis. The caller was commenting on, who said God told her this and God told her that. So the caller was saying, how come God not talk to her, or how come she don't hear that God, other people coming forward and saying God talk to them, is if it's only that person alone, Miss Mervis, who God talked to. That was what she was saying.
Okay, so if Miss Mervis says she's listening, I hope she call back and explain if God talked to her in person or some other means. Well, anyway, the point I call about is what's the difference between assassination and murder?
Assassination is usually associated to murder in high places, in a manner of speaking.
So it's only when an official get murdered called assassination.
Yeah, someone of note, someone holding political office or some other significant office.
So in the sight of God, which life is more important, the big man or the small one?
No, this came up before, and we made the point that over time, I think Rascaba was the one who raised this last week, because last week was the assassination of Jovenel Moise. Over time, words are coined or created or further enhanced or applied to certain situations, people, etc. So it's just one of those things that has been handed down through the evolution of the English language. There's no magic to it.
Okay, so what's the difference between kidnapping and abduction?
That's a good question. The difference between kidnapping and abduction. they seem to be along the same lines. They seem to be along the same lines of being forcefully or forcibly taken, essentially, forcibly taking someone away against their will. That's abduction, which is pretty much the same as kidnapping, which is defined as the action of abducting someone and holding them captive.
Okay, last one. What's the difference between misappropriation of funds or thief the money?
They're usually in business, funds are allocated and channeled according to the operation of the business. In private sector, in public sector, according to policy and according to whatever fiduciary responsibilities, etc. So that if money is appropriated, then it means you are doing what you're normally supposed to do in terms of appropriating funds for this thing and that thing. If it is misappropriated, then it means that the money is being, or something is being illicitly transferred or channeled into the wrong direction for some nefarious means, for some corrupt means.
Yeah, but in the small man world, somebody thief the money and need to get arrested, right?
No, you're free to translate. You're free to translate. But you asked about the specific word, and I was giving you the meaning.
Okay, I understand. But when like people in government or some official money missing, they always have some fancy word to give us. But it all boils down to one thing.
No, but they don't give us. Again, it goes back to the English language. It's the use and application of the English language. Jamaica did not, although a Jamaican was involved in the publication of the first widely accepted dictionary of the English language. Jamaica didn't create the English language. So that, but like the rest of the world, we speak the English language because it's the language of business. And so there are certain terms that are specific. In other words, just as how you can say in Jamaican parlance, somebody thief the money, it is globally accepted when you say funds are misappropriated. They get the point. The point is made. They know straight away that it has to do with some kind of embezzlement, some kind of corrupt act in relation to funds, money, whether public or private.
Yeah, but it sounds more fancy when you use the big word, eh?
It's not well, people are free to use whatever words they want to use, but I'm saying to you, it is globally understood that when you use the term misappropriation of funds, the world understands. The world understands those.
Like I went to court one time, and a lady and her husband having some problem, and they want to separate. They say they're going through, I can't remember the word good, reconcilable differences, something like that.
Irreconcilable differences. It means they have tried, but they can't make up. It's just not happening.
Yeah, but I was saying, why did it easy said and done? I mean, me can't take him and him can't take me, just not work out and remove her. But I like they always use some fancy word and make it sound You understand what I'm saying?
But in this case, remember, we're talking about law as well. And even in the case of embezzlement and misappropriation, there's a legal element there. And it is understood in that language. Irreconcilable. Once you use the term irreconcilable, it means that we are so different from each other in terms of our choices, our actions, our decisions, etc., that they cannot be made compatible. We can't work it out. It's not going to work out. It's no longer working out. There's a breakdown in the relationship. So and there is no coming back from that. It's irreconcilable.
So instead of using that word, why they just say, boy, we can't deal with him no more and we're move on?
But they can say that in court, and then the judge might say, well, have you tried? Yes, judge, we tried, but it just now work out. So we'll have to put this down to irreconcilable differences then. That means you don't see any making up at all in the future. It's not happening and it will never happen. And they say, yes, judge, me can't stand him or me can't stand her. And that's that, irreconcilable differences. But they wouldn't have to necessarily use the term, but the judge would know what term applies to whatever is happening or not happening in that relationship.
Okay. All right. Thank you, boss, to give me a listening ears.
Thanks for the call. All the best. Take care. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. Taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5. There are so many messages. So many messages. Some of them from yesterday, as we said, and we're trying to get up to date by clearing as many of them as possible. Let's see. This is about the band and the skip form that... Not sure what this is. We'll have to follow up off air. And we're seeing some pictures coming out of South Africa as well. Somebody has shared pictures with us in terms of their protests, a series of protests taking place, and a lot of looting, and yeah, it just means that their cup runneth over or their, well, maybe that's not the expression. It's more like they've reached their tipping point. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Hi, Mr. Malcolm.
Good afternoon.
How are you, sir?
I'm giving thanks for life, and you?
I'm okay. You know, that caller who called about Mervis saying that the Almighty told her, this and that. I do understand what they're saying, but I don't appreciate the fact when they just stick to that point and not look at what she says afterwards.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize we were so close to the break. Hold on, please. One moment.
You contribute directly to Jamaica's national development when you pay your customs duties. Let's all do our part in keeping the wheels of our economy turning. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
3:31.
Under the Law is now in its 48th year and still helping you to know your rights and how the laws of Jamaica can help you defend those rights. The program is brought to you on Mondays by the 4 at 9:25 p.m. Mondays on Power 106 FM.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. Thanks for holding. Please continue.
I can understand the frustration frustration whenever, there's a caller who calls repeatedly and there's just this particular line that they keep saying. But it's like throwing out the baby with the bathwater, in my opinion. So what does Mervis say after that? Does it make any sense? I mean, is it something that's worthwhile, something that we can look at, to say, okay, I can use this to better myself, better, my involvement in community lifestyle and make my country better. So yeah, I do get the frustration, but I don't think they should just stop there. They should say, okay, fine. No one got to talk to me, so okay, you work that out or ask Mervis how that can happen to you. But also take what she says into consideration, talk about that as well. And don't just discount whatever else that she says. I don't think that is quite fair.
All right, your position is quite clear. Thanks for sharing. All the best.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Take care. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Raskava wants to join in the discussion. Good afternoon, Raskava.
Yeah.
Welcome, you're on.
Oh, greetings, man.
Greetings. Hello? What's happening here? We have Raskava on hold and Raskava calling us at the same time. Hello?
Yeah.
We have you on two lines. What a thing. Go ahead, Raskava.
To the other one. Disconnect one.
Well, you go ahead and disconnect one and let's see what happens. All right, let me do that then. How is that now? Hello? That one is on hold. All right, sorry. Try again, Raskava. Yes. Go ahead now, please.
Yeah. I am one of them who always question Miss Mervis about the relationship that she claims she have with God. And I also gave her messages to give God, and she don't come back and tell me what God said for her neither. But the sister who just called a while ago that we should look at what else she said. But I thought she would have made a statement on what we are not getting. And then we could also look at that and give her the due diligence or the praise or the acknowledgement where it due. But she just said we should have looked on it. So if she could have called in and tell us what we're not looking on, then probably we were just overlooking it based on what grabs us by the ears.
Yeah.
Go on.
Go ahead, man. I'm listening.
The statue of Gandhi. You think it is appropriate to have made up, mounted that statue of Gandhi in Jamaica?
It's actually a bust. B-U-S-T, yes.
Yeah, I've gone there to see it, and to be honest with you, the ugliest that bust may ever see of anyone. They didn't do him justice.
Oh.
Never look good. It is so ugly in the craftsmanship and the finishing touches. But knowing Gandhi and his take read black people, I personally don't think it's appropriate to put it at a learning institution that the youth them will come and see that bus, not knowing even why it's there, do it, I tell you, so them commemorate the Indians been brought to Jamaica. Nothing about him was said that can say, oh, Gandhi has done this for Jamaica, has done this for black people. And nothing that can really tell us anything about him. They just put him here because Indian was brought here. And there's a very vibrant group in...
No, but he doesn't represent the commemoration of the arrival of the Indians to Jamaica.
That's what posted on the bus. I think
no, but Gandhi had, I don't know about Gandhi having anything to do with that.
Right, because there's a group of Indian in Jamaica. But they could have better than Canada here where they do the Gere and all the Indian rituals. But to the library, without having anything said about him that youth can learn from. It's not appropriate. I don't think that cannot treat the people who come up with that idea what they are thinking. Because again, they have also said that black people are subhuman. So what are you doing with a statue of him in Jamaica just to say Indian came here? Why can't you get some other Indians that have a rich heritage and is not so much of a...
No, but what I'm saying, they don't need Gandhi's bust or statue or any likeness of Gandhi. There is supposed to be a monument, as I understand it, in Old Harbor, somewhere in Old Harbor. There's supposed to be a monument which signifies the arrival of the first group of Indians who came to Jamaica as indentured laborers back in 1845. 1845, easy way to remember it. The first group of Indians was brought to Jamaica in 1845. The first group of Chinese was brought to Jamaica in 1854. So they're supposed to be there's a monument somewhere in Old Harbor to commemorate the arrival of the Indians. I'm not sure why anybody would need to incorporate
an individual to remind and to teach people about that when he had nothing to do with then or now.
Yeah, it's I don't get that connection. No.
You know, I just go there and read what they on it. Was it Ministry of Culture? Which ministry would have responsible for that?
Yeah, it would have been culture. Would have been culture. Yes. In fact, when that monument was established, when I think Ed Bartlett had some responsibility for culture at the time, when that monument was set up.
No, sir, I don't get nothing from that tells me nothing about Gandhi's involvement in slavery or the history of black people brought here or the Indians brought here. I don't see nothing there, so.
But sorry, go ahead.
I don't think any Indian who would have gone there to look at that would be proud of what they see either. Right? Me I tell you, say no look good.
Yeah, for what it's worth, I did see a statue of Gandhi at the Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial. They have a museum and some other features to celebrate Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And there's a statue of Gandhi there. In fact, I took a picture holding on to Gandhi's hand. But way back then, some years ago, many years ago.
It looked like a tar they make you out of, man. That's how black and shiny and no craftsmanship. I don't know, but I don't see wherein as they should put that even at the library or anywhere in Jamaica from my own looking at it.
Except, I'm sure you're not saying let us pack it all into throw it somewhere where nobody will ever know about Gandhi, because the horse has long bolted. What our children need to know, they need to know the truth, as we were saying a couple of days ago when Carol Boyth raised the point. Tell the children the truth. The children must know whatever good or bad Gandhi did or said or
did not do or said.
Whatever. Yes.
Right. And to have it at the library, where is a learning institution, that's where children come and do their research.
And in fact, that's the best place for it to be. But the truth must be there. Put the truth there so the children and everybody else can read and make up their own minds about whether they would care too much for anybody by the name of Gandhi.
A citation should be placed there with his famous speeches and things that he can be remembered by. You just don't put up a statue there that say his commemoration to the Indian coming to Jamaica and that's it. The children going home not going to have anything, they're not going to learn nothing more from that.
Yeah,
sorry. A different plaque if they want it to stay there. And I want big platform in the brethren, may I tell you, millions of dollars that them wasted there, so. So they need to have a plaque or a citation put up differently as a tablet or something with more.
You're talking about the one in Clarendon?
Yeah, the library.
And there's a bust of Gandhi at that library?
Yes, that's where they unveiled it last week on there.
In addition to the bust of Gandhi at the Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Library, popularly known as Tom Redcombe Library?
Yes, man. Yeah.
I'm wondering then, I'm wondering if it's a case where there is some arrangement with the Indian government. I'm just wondering if that there's some connection there, because I know they have done some kind of commemoration. I don't there, but not. I need to check it. Because
I'll get you a picture of it and send it to you too.
Please do.
All right, sir. Give thanks.
Thanks for the call. Take care. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. Taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5. Jacqueline Simmons, good afternoon to you. Velta Wilson, hello. Junior Jabari says thievery in reference to misappropriation. Faye Weller says, good afternoon, Mr. Dervan and listeners. To you too, Faye Weller. Sophia Nemard, still having trouble hearing, she says. Roble the Black Pearl Michelle says, my pet peeve is people who claim to be God's emissary. The hypocrisy is God's point of view always changes to coincide with the argument that they're trying to make. Thanks for your message, Roble the Black Pearl Michelle. Curleen Kinlock says, please, when we talk about Indians, remember they are black also. And Norman Hines says, good afternoon, Mr. Dervan, Malcolm, and listeners listening straight out of St. Thomas, Jamaica. Good afternoon to you, Norman Hines. Thank you very much for tuning in. And all the very best. In school, we did read about the caste system in India. Claudia Hadam is also on YouTube as well. Well, I said also because I believe she's on Facebook Live as well. So Claudia is really listening to both sides. Reverend MacDonald in Mississauga, Ontario, Canada, has sent a video, which we'll have to check at some point. And there's someone else who has sent us something else, but we can't. Oh, this is the Anne-Marie person whose number we shared with Cecil Toms. Anne-Marie, one moment, please.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3:46.
To waste time trying to fill prescriptions, Community Meds Pharmacy makes it easy for you. We have the only drive-through pharmacy in Portmore. Get your blood pressure, sugar, cholesterol, HIV, pregnancy, and other tests done. Open Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Sunday and public holidays, 1 p.m. to 10 p.m. Community Meds Pharmacy, Lot 5, Congreve Park, Helsher Main Road. Telephone 740-4962. That's 740-4962. We are convenient and affordable.
Who says an excellent medical education has to be expensive?
The Caribbean School of Medical Sciences Jamaica offers quality medical training through our affordable pre-med and MD programs. Our aim is to develop a quality workforce of professionals. We offer excellent facilities, experienced lecturers, and hands-on learning. Plus, scholarships are now available. Secure the career of your dreams by applying today. Visit our office on 15 Braemar Avenue, Kingston 10, or send us an email at info@csmsj.edu.jm.
Luxury beaches, countless grains of pure white sand, tranquil breeze and palm trees, our beautiful island Jamaica. Oh, Jamaica. We miss the vibrancy of our tourism product, but hope is on the horizon. At Exim Bank, we know that SMEs in the tourism industry need support to keep this vision alive, to strengthen one of our country's strongest assets. Let us help you to build a better future for your business. Ask about our small and medium-sized tourism enterprise loan today. Borrow up to 25 million with interest rates as low as 4.5% and up to 7 years to repay. You can breathe easy. Enjoy your progress and continue contributing to Brand Jamaica. Exim Bank. By helping businesses, we save lives and livelihood.
You asked, we listened. You said you wanted back the additional hour. Dear Pastor returns to its usual time from 10 p.m. until midnight.
Oh boy, you know.
Your thoughts on topical issues, relationship matters, questions you want answered, pertinent advice. It all comes together on Dear Pastor with Reverend Dr. Aaron Dumas.
Hello.
Hello, Pastor.
Yes.
Can I ask you a question?
Well, you may ask me a question. I may or may not answer.
He returns to keep your company from 10 p.m. until midnight, right here on Power 106 FM.
When you get home, just a little bit, just a little bit.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. So the number, Anne-Marie, read JUTC, the number that we copied and shared with Cecil Toms is the from JUTC, is the number associated with this account, this WhatsApp account that you message us on. But Mr. Toms responded to us, as we expected he would, to say that he tried calling you. He says, good morning, Dervan. This was yesterday. This message came in yesterday. Good morning, Dervan. Tried calling Anne-Marie just now, but got a message saying incoming calls to the number had been restricted. Is the number correct? So the question goes to you, Anne-Marie. Is the number correct? Or should we... Hold on, let me see something here. Oh, there's a message here. She had subsequently sent us a message. She had said, incoming calls to this number is blocked because I can't pay the bills. So he can get me on this number. All right. Well, oversight on my part then. Sorry about that, Anne-Marie. So let's forward this. Let's forward this to the other device to ensure that Cecil Toms gets this message. And Cecil Toms, if you're listening, please forgive me for not including the usual courtesies, but it's just that I'm like, how are you doing? And that kind of thing. It's because I've tried to get this message to you as quickly as possible, like right now, which I just did. But I still have to put a note there. So, hi, Cecil. Please see above message from Anne-Marie. Anne-Marie. Thanks. All right. Good, that's gone. So we've sent that off, Anne-Marie. But we did forward your original message and the voice note itself to Mr. Toms. Let's see what happens now that he has your other number. Michael from Belle Plaine in Clarendon says, good afternoon, teacher, to you and your listeners. I'm here home with my wife, grandchildren, and my wife's friend's daughter And Rasta, keep educate us, teacher. You are one in a million. Keep safe. God's blessings I wish you. Thank you very much, Michael from Belle Plaine in Clarendon. Ricardo in Glengoff, St. Catherine, greeting everybody as usual. Owen in Mandeville says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. As you mentioned, writing love letters. I remembered a song, Love Letters, Straight from Your Heart. Maybe you could play it during the program. Please smile pleasantly. This is Owen in Mandeville. Owen, we'll see what we can do. Thank you for your message. Chris from London says, greetings from Jamaica, Mr. D. Loving your island here. Welcome home, Chris. Welcome home from London, Chris. Tevin is asking, how did Wait a Bit get its name, Sir Dervan? I'm sure that's somewhere. I have a couple of books on Trelawney. I'm sure that is in there somewhere. You'll have to remind me another time. I'll check. I have a book of Jamaican place names in addition to the books written on Trelawney itself, the parish. Let's go to Ellerid in Mississauga, Ontario, Canada. Ellerid says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. Can you find out why when made an application for authorization to come to Jamaica, they have to wait forever? I have gone ahead to spend $225, and I think this is US dollars, to get tested for COVID-19, get the results, and still can't get approved to come back home. My flight is booked for July 15. What happened when you get tested and the 3 days passed before one gets approved? Can you check with the Ministry of Health? Concerns this urgent situation. Who can we talk to? Ministry of Health. Have you used the website? This is why they have the app and the website. They tell us the website, moh.gov.jm. All the information that you need is there. Plus the app. The app is what's it again? Jam COVID. That's the name of the app, Jam COVID. This is unfortunate though. I'm not sure why this is. We have given up any hope of ever getting the health minister on this or any other program, quite frankly. So we don't even try again these days. But I maybe could try. And time is going. That's the thing now. Who can we connect you with? I don't even know who. Let me see. What's the name of the gentleman there? Let's go to. Should have a number here for. Oh goodness, his name escapes me now. In the meantime, Ellerid out of Mississauga, Ontario, Canada, I would humbly submit that you go to that website or go back, because you would have had to have gone there in the first place, and see if you can find a solution there, because that is the portal that is open to those who are traveling to Jamaica. I'm really not able to point you in any meaningful direction now, other than the website and the app, the Jam COVID app, or the MOH dot what's that again? moh.gov.jm website. Well, that's a most unfortunate situation. I'm still trying to think. You can well imagine what's going on in my poor head. I'm trying to keep abreast of all that's happening in relation to the program and the messages. And I'm seeing Cecil Toms responding almost instantly, saying, thanks, Dervan. I'll call her in short order. So Anne-Marie, Cecil Toms of the JUTC will call you in short order. That's what he's saying. So in between doing all of that, Ella read in Mississauga, Ontario, Canada, and trying to think of a name or two, and trying to maybe go through one of these devices to see which number we can call. And that is not clicking right now, actually. That is not clicking right now because we have to continue with the show in any case. So see what you can do or glean from those sites and let us know, while I'm trying to think. At the same time, I'm trying to keep the program going as to how else we might be able to assist you. Let's see. And at the same time, we're getting all kinds of questions as well, which we're trying to answer. Like Junior Jabari, who wants to know, is it above mentioned or above mention? It is the former, Junior Jabari, not the latter. The former meaning above mentioned. Above mentioned. Hope you got that, Junior Jabari. Thank you very much for your message. All the very best to you. And Crocs in Black River says, good day, Mr. Malcolm. Is it historically accurate that Norman Manley, who developed the industrial concept and gave it to the JLP when they were bereft of ideas? No, hold on there, no, Crocs. I've read this story so many times, the story of Robert Lightburn. I don't want to dismiss what you're saying, except to say that I have done my homework on this one, as I usually do. So I know what I'm talking about. One moment, please.
Just a little bit, baby. Just a little bit more. Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
At Wellington Dental, they offer cleaning, filling, whitening, and other services for the entire family. The time by Wellington Dental is
4 o'clock.
NIS pensioners, early encashment continues. Pension order vouchers with payable dates in July 2021 may be encashed as of July 1. Collect all your July payments at your convenience. Simply visit your designated post office. Please note, pension vouchers can only be encashed at post offices. A message from the Ministry of Labour and Social Security.
Just a little bit, baby. Just a little bit more. Just a little bit, mister.
¿Qué hora es en español? Son las 4:01. Quelle heure est-il en français? Il est 4:01. 现在几点了？4点01分. A minute past 4 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Have you had a checkup lately? If not, now is a good time. Let's not wait till we get sick to get a checkup. How about that? Checking in with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Poro 106 FM. Still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Crocs in Black River, let's get back to your message. So Croc says, good day, Mr. Malcolm. Is it historically accurate that it was Norman Manley who developed the industrial concept? Can I give you a Mutty Perkins on this one, Crocs in Black River? Nonsense. Nonsense. That's what I'll say to that. Note as well, Crocs in Black River, that at all the times when we have talked about the great Robert Lightburn, we have never, ever mentioned the Jamaica Labour Party. Never. Because what we also learned of Robert Lightburn is that he enjoyed independence of thought to the point where he would move away from a political party to run as an independent candidate. We have read the history, we have read the articles over and over and over again. This is a man who was instrumental in the turning around of bankrupt companies, not in Jamaica, but in England, in the UK, in Britain. He That was his main. That was what they call it, his MO, modus operandi, transforming bankrupt businesses into once again flourishing enterprises, among other things. The record is there. It is there for all to read and see. Now, you have taken a tact, T-A-C-T, where you are saying and gave it. Well, first of all, that's nonsense about Norman Manley developing industrial concept. We have to give it the Mutty Perkins treatment there. That's nonsense. And then you go on to say, and gave it to the JLP when they were bereft of ideas. I'm not into the politics when I talk about Robert Lightburn, Crocs in Black River. I'm talking about the body of work that this leader, this industrialist leader, was able to achieve. Of course, there would have been other individuals involved, but this man knew his stuff. This is not a play. I don't think we understand and appreciate the contribution, and we have played it down in this country. I don't know why. We continue. Yes, we have named a school in his honor. And relatively recently, was it last year or year before, the Ministry of what is it now? Ministry of is it Commerce? I don't remember because it changed. But the ministry came up with a new award, a Robert Lightburn Award. I don't know if it was the ministry. I'm trying to remember. I read the story some time ago. The ministry or the Jamaica Manufacturers and Exporters Association, whether they're the ones. But I think he's a highly underrated Jamaican, the great Robert Lightburn. And when I speak about Robert Lightburn, what attracts me to Robert Lightburn, the fact that I like to tell people I was born in Jamaica's industrial belt, Bell Road Industrial Estate. Both parents were in the business of production, both my parents. They were into making things, creating things, engineering things. That industriousness, that's where that came from. I was conceived in Bell Road Industrial Estate. I get excited. I'm excited by work, production, development, construction. I get excited by these things. And when I read about the kind of work that was done, the training that was necessary for our people to upskill them. So we took them to England, because we all know the industrialization that took place in England and all of that. Took them to England to learn the techniques, the modalities, how a factory operates, etc., the tools and all of these things. And to have created, let's not devalue or undervalue, to have created a cadre of Jamaicans who could make things right here in Jamaica, who could make Philips TVs if I could just bring up the number of things we used to make in this country, that might take a little time just to bring it up. I'm saying it needed a driver, and the driver behind it all to make it happen. His MO was not a politician. Yes, he would have held political office. But the man was fundamentally an industrialist and made a huge impact on this country. And now here we are again talking about, well, we need to produce more, and we need factory, and we need this, and we need. That's what the great Robert Lightburn was promoting back then, and encouraging and nurturing and facilitating. So when I speak about Robert Lightburn, I'm not talking about politics. I'm not talking about politics. I am a lover of work, honest work, I'm a student of production and productivity, where capital, machinery, and the human resources and everything else working together. That is where my headspace is at. So we're not really, we're not interested in the politics. We are interested in helping to share and to tell the stories of those who have and continue to contribute to the growth and development of this country. And this is not any airy-fairy thing. It's the facts are there. Anybody who is interested, anybody who really wants to know what happened, the information is out there. It is available. So, Crocs, no. Anyway, that's a part of Crocs's message. Let's go on. He says, it is said that the JLP government then sent for Robert Lightburn to implement that program. Well, we've already rubbished the first part of that message already. Crocs goes on. I think that Jamaica's history may have been very different had Robert Lightburn been allowed to become leader of the JLP instead of Edward Seaga. But maybe Lightburn's skin was too dark for the JLP. So you've gone on to other matters now, Crocs. And again, as we have said, well, you have said what you have said in your message, but we have never been interested in the political side. Never been interested in that side. The reason why we have always talked about the great Robert Light, it's just in doing research that we came upon, we stumbled upon Robert Lightburn, because we try to read a lot and we go through the archives and just try to learn about those who have contributed to the development of this country. And that's how we came up with the information. When I read the body of work and the extent of the work that the great Robert Lightburn did in this country of ours, Jamaica, I was blown away by the body of work. And so every opportunity I get, Crocs in Black River, every opportunity I get, I talk about Robert Lightburn, right? But I make the distinction, Crocs, that I'm not interested in the politics. I'm not interested in the politics at all. Because, yes, you have written what you have written, and that in and of itself is loaded. That in and of itself is loaded. And because we don't want to crowd out the essence of what we mean by saluting and celebrating Robert Lightburn, we don't want to crowd that out. So we leave out the other things. In other words, the other things being the politics of it. The politics of it. We stay away from that because we know there are people who only think that way. So when you call that name, they go straight ahead. I've never, in all the time I've shared information on Robert Lightburn, this afternoon was the first time, by virtue of reading your message, Crocs in Black River, that I've ever mentioned the Jamaica Labour Party, because he also demonstrated a level of independence of thought when he could step away. And we don't have many more politicians like that these days. When you would have been a part of an organization and you find that either direction has a change of direction, a change of policy, a change of whatever would have happened, the nowadays politicians would just sit in it and just continue with whatever. Robert Lightburn moved away. He was bold enough to move away from that, to say as much as he would have wanted to continue, but he obviously was a man of principle. He obviously was a man of principle, and he decided to step away. But let's not get it twisted. When we talk about Robert Lightburn, we're talking about the industrialization of Jamaica. The man who was instrumental in the industrialization of Jamaica. That's what we are talking about. He would have done his work. Man is transient. All of us, we're just passing through, as we have been saying on this program for some time. We're just passing through. And we all are going to have to make that exit at some point. But can we make a difference before we leave this earth? Let's do it. Robert Lightburn, the great Robert Lightburn, made a difference and left his mark. And that's why we can talk about it today.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:15. Oh yeah, this pasta made in Jamaica. Porridge, oats, oatmeal, cornmeal with banana.
Yo, proud of we culture, yes, we love pasta. Only for protein, good source of fiber.
Love my family, me love my Fosca. I feel we Fosca, I feel we Fosca. Love we Fosca, I feel we Fosca.
We have to prosper with our Fosca. Good for the sugar level and the blood pressure.
Made in Jamaica, we love with Fosca. What you want, baby, I got it. What you need, you know I got it. All I'm asking is for a little respect when you just a little bit, hey, baby, just a little bit, just a little bit, mister, just a little bit. I ain't gonna do you wrong, why you gone? I ain't gonna do you wrong, 'cause I don't wanna. All I'm asking is for a little respect, just a little bit, baby, just a little bit, just a little bit, just a little bit. I'm out to give you all my money, and all I'm asking in return, honey, is to give me my propose when you got just a little bit, just a little bit, just a little bit.
Que hora es en español? Son las 4:17. Quelle heure est-il en français? Il est 4:17. 现在几点了？4点17分. 17 minutes past 4 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Have you done your homework yet? If not, now is a good time. Yes, young people, we know it's summer. You're on a break of sorts, but remember, due to significant learning loss, there's a national summer school program that is on now. Please take advantage of it and have some fun in between. Nothing wrong with that. Have some fun, because you're supposed to have fun in the summertime. But at the same time, just try and catch up as much as you can, as best as you can. And let's see what happens going forward. For those sitting CSEC and CAPE exams, we hope you get the results that you work for. Nothing more, nothing less. And as we have been saying, you are among the best in the world. Yes, you, young people of Jamaica, who would have been sitting exams since 2020, from those of you who sat in 2020, sat exams, CAPE and CSEC, and now in 2021, and with all that has happened, you have still come through. We are proud of you. Yes, we know the results are going to come eventually, and we may or may not be happy with the results one way or another, whereas we might be very happy. Whatever the situation, we're proud of you that you were able to stick to it, that you have been able so far to continue to give it the best that you've got. Because as we've always said, young people, education is your passport. Education is your visa. Education is your plane ticket. It will take you everywhere, and I mean everywhere. Just remember that, young people. So get that education. Don't be in a hurry to get into big people business, to the man and woman situation. Don't be in a hurry. Don't be in too much of a hurry to go there. Enjoy your youth and your experience. Learn as much as you can and get that education. That is what is going to ensure that you are on a solid platform to grow and develop and succeed and excel after that. So that is what we would say to you, young people. So we congratulate you. You have done well. You have done well under the circumstances. And those who would have been tested one way or another in such a way that we will have PEP results before the week is out. Today is Wednesday. We'll keep listening to the news to hear whether it's going to be tomorrow or Friday when the PEP results will be out. And we know some of you are nervous and concerned and worried, and your parents and guardians even more so. But if you know look, we're proud of you. We're proud of you. You may not have done as well as you wanted to, or as well as you are capable of doing, but just use that. Just turn that around. Turn that energy around. Going forward, turn over that page and go ahead and be the best that you can be. How about that? As we always say, young people, socialization makes you educable. Education makes you trainable. Training makes you employable. And the right attitude makes you successful. Homework time, young people. Claudia Gold Hadam, thumbs up, and a red heart. Thank you very much. Dr. Don in Skokie, Illinois says, good afternoon, Sir Malcolm. Totally agree with you on Lightburn. Let's tell the true story and skip the rubbish, political and racial rubbish. Keep up the great work that you're doing and leave your mark. Blessings. Yeah, well, I couldn't resist that Monty Perkins moment, Dr. Dunn in Skokie, Illinois. Every human being, one way or another, would have made a contribution. And yes, there are those that get played up more than others for various reasons. But let's not discount. Let's be careful. Let's be mindful. Let's not discount or try to diminish the quality of work that has been done. It's there. There's a saying that says, work done cannot be undone. So nobody can change that. The records are there. The records are there. Work done cannot be undone. Right, Dr. Dunn in Skokie, Illinois? Thank you very much for your message. Let's continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Live on your smart devices all over the world. Patriotic Jamaican in New York says, Mr. Malcolm, I do appreciate you reminding us of what Jamaica used to be. But every time I hear you reel off all those things that the country was involved in, I can't help but feel a tinge of anger toward the so-called leaders of our country, from inept, brain-dead politicians to misguided union leaders, to an illiterate, dishonest, and lazy workforce, to criminals and murderers. They all conspired against a country with so much potential and have brought it to its knees on insight. And in New York, we are, in all that we have said and in all that we say, having said all of that, we will never, ever give up on Jamaica. And for as long as we have the gift of life, we're going to do all we can to play our part in advancing the welfare of the whole human race. But of course, Parson christening picnic fuss. And we're not. If you think we're being self-serving, just remember, those of us who have traveled on an aircraft, let's remember what the flight attendants tell us before takeoff when they're going through the routine. They show us where the masks will drop from. And in an emergency, what did they say? Or what do they say? Put on your mask first before helping others. So we make sure we dance a yard before we dance abroad. Right? And we know that one hand can't clap. So one hand in Jamaica, one hand, the other hand in the diaspora, and we both clap. Yeah. So we'll never give up on Jamaica until that day when we're no longer around. And even then, well, I guess we would learn if there is such a thing as the spirit world and all of that. But anyway, what the point we're making is the criticisms of our country, Jamaica, are out of love more than anything else, and a desire to see a better country, a desire for better leadership at all levels. It's part of that desire. We know what we're capable of. We know what we're capable of. And it's like a frustrated teacher with a student who is just bursting with potential. But for one reason or another, whether problems in the home or whatever, the poor child is being disadvantaged. Because those of us who are supposed to do what we're supposed to do are not doing what we're supposed to be doing. Anne-Marie Reed JUTC says, thank you, sir. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. We try. Ellerid in Mississauga, Ontario, Canada says, Mr. Malcolm, I'm stressed out waiting on the Ministry of Health for authorization to come home tomorrow. And we've read a message like this before. I don't remember, was it you again, Ellerid, or somebody else? We've received a message similar to this one some months ago, perhaps, of someone who was in a similar position. I can well imagine your frustration, Ellerid. Ministry of Health. Can you check your list and check it twice? And communication is key, even if you're not going to approve. Let's say, for argument's sake, you're not approving the entry of this individual or any other individual into the country. Just tell them now, get the information out there. People have to plan. They have their lives to take care of. Get the information out there. I tell people all the time, just tell me what is happening now, whether it's happening or not happening. If I don't know, then I can't act appropriately or accordingly. What is happening or not happening? Can we get a notification? Maybe the first notification, we have received your message. We will give you a response within 3 days. And within 3 days, a response. This is the age of the technology and all these various systems and processes. We must be able to do better than that. This is the 14th. Tomorrow is the 15th. He's supposed to be traveling tomorrow, and still no word from the Ministry of Health. We have to do better than that. Have to do better than that. Come on, man. Owen in Mandeville says, hello again, Sir Dervan. Robert Lightburn, the greatest tire ever made in this part of the world was the Goodyear G800 passenger car tire developed at the Goodyear factory in St. Thomas, which he was very instrumental in having established. Thank you for yet another reminder, Owen in Mandeville. All the very best. Tevin asks, is this the book you have been telling me about, sir? Yes. Jamaican place names by books on Falmouth in particular, Trelawney in general. And we'll just have to check to confirm. That was in reference to the question of how Wait a Bit got its name. No doubt there's a story to it. So it is. A couple more messages coming in. Rose McIntosh in London says the skeletons are coming out of the closet. The facts are being revealed. Sir Dervan, I have to give you credit for being real. Never give up on Jamaica. Indeed. More in a moment.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:30.
¿Qué hora es en español? Son las 4:30. Quelle heure est-il en français? Il est 4:30. 现在几点了？4点13分. Well, the time just changed. It's now 4:31. There are a couple of ways when it comes on to telling the time, by the way, in whether French, Spanish, or Mandarin. You usually have at least, as I remember it, at least 2 options. But I'm remembering 3, about 3 different options. So a while ago, I was trying to go into my memory bank to switch around the, like 4:30, par exemple, etc. 011. And let's see. Right, it is a Wednesday afternoon, just after, and good afternoon to the parents and guardians listening to us. Do you know where your children are? Are they where they're supposed to be, doing what they're supposed to be doing? It's a good time to check up on the children. A good time for us to continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Chris from London says travel authority can be approved even 2 hours before flights. Don't know if that is cold comfort for Ellerid. Ellerid in Mississauga, Ontario, Canada, whose flight is tomorrow. Well, you're getting some assurance or cold comfort, however you look at it, from Chris, who is originally he's Jamaican, normally resident in London. He's in Jamaica now. So he came through, he used the same system. So he is reminding us that travel authority can be approved even 2 hours before flights. So it seems like touch and go. Then Ellerid, it means you'll just have to pretend as if you have been approved and turn up at the airport and hope that perhaps within 2 hours of your flight, what the airline representative will say to you when you check with that individual that you have been passed to travel or approved to travel. That's as much as we can tell you at this stage. Ellerid in Mississauga, Ontario, Canada. It's one of those times when you'll have to step out in faith. One of my all-time favorite quotations attributed to the great Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Faith is making the first step without even seeing the staircase. Faith is making the first step without even seeing a staircase. So step out in faith, Ellerid. That's the best we can say at this stage. Based on Chris's experience. Chris, who lives in London, flew into Jamaica recently, so he's here now and came through that same system. So he says you can get approval up to 2 hours before the flight. So let's see. Please keep in touch with us and let us know if you get any closer to that approval stage. In the meantime, it's a Wednesday afternoon, just after 4:30, and that means time for Diaspora Check-In, which is a feature which gives us the opportunity to connect with Jamaicans all over the world on a day like today, on an afternoon like this afternoon, at a time such as this. And we could think of no other place in the world to feature through a Jamaican who has created waves, one of the part of the foundation. He might not count himself a part of the foundation of the Jamaicans in France, but pretty close, pretty close. Today you would recall us starting the program by talking about the significance of today, the 14th of July, being la Fête Nationale Française, a national celebration, national big holiday in France, because it commemorates the storming of the Bastille. It's known as Bastille Day as well, and so it's a holiday in France, and so we could think of nobody else right now to connect with than Mr. Edward Boucher Jr. And let's just remind you of Edward Boucher Jr.'s credentials. He is immediate past president of JAM in France, the Association of Jamaican Nationals in France. He's the founder and CEO of JAMFET, and just a good Jamaican, bona fide Jamaican. Let's properly introduce the segment.
Diaspora Check-In during both sides of the story is brought to you by GK Western Union. Receive money directly into your bank account today.
Bonne fête nationale, Monsieur Boucher, ça va?
Ça va très bien, Monsieur Malcolm. J'espère que vous allez bien.
Très bien, merci. Et toi?
Ça va très bien. Ça va très bien. You're probably still hearing the sound of the fireworks in the background.
Slow it down a bit. I'm excited to hear because I've never experienced in all my years of studying French, and I've never been to Paris, France. That's bad, isn't it? Need to fix that. But anyway,
we're gonna fix that. We're gonna fix that.
Yeah. So just go back a bit. You would have learned like have in school about the significance of the 14th of July. Can you remind those of us who know and enlighten those who don't why the 14th of July is such a big day in France?
All right, so for those who might not know, or those who have forgotten, France had initially up to 1789 what we would describe as an absolute monarchy. And basically that system meant that the king was appointed by God, and as such, he was to be unquestioned in everything that he did. So the situation at the time was that France was divided into three estates. The first estate, which was made up mainly of the clergy, by clergy members of the church, priests, nuns, people who work in the church. And
Losing you a bit.
Sorry about that.
Yes. Go ahead now.
Yeah, so the clergy, men of the church, men and women, they actually were in charge of schools, they were in charge of newspapers, they were the most powerful institution at the time, the clergy, and then you had the nobility, which would be like men and women of royal blood. And they made up the minority of the population, but they owned all the land, and of course they didn't pay taxes. And then you had the estate, which was made up mainly of the peasants, who were like the farmers and merchants, and they were paying the blunt of France's financial crisis at the time. And so the Bastille Day really signified when the members of the Third Estate decided to take power into their own hands, and they attacked the Bastille, which on 1 July 14th morning, which actually the Bastille was a state prison at the time. So it was a symbol of the system of government that was in place at the time. So initially they didn't go to the Bastille, they went to Invalides. They got themselves weapons and they didn't have any gunpowder. And so they thought that maybe if they went to Bastille, they would find the gunpowder there. But when they got there, they didn't find any. But they decided, to rip apart the prison brick by brick. And so that day, became symbolic as to the end of the regime that existed at the time and the birth of France's republican system. So a few years later, they had the first French Republic. And at the moment, we're actually in the fifth French Republic. So each time they change the constitution, they give it a new name, because even the monarchy came back at one point and then the republic came back. So at the moment, we're in the fifth republic, which was started by Charles de Gaulle in 1959. And but it all started back on Bastille Day of 1789, sorry.
Mm-hmm. Right. No,
I'm putting on my teaching.
Well done. Right. How is the day traditionally, before we come to COVID-19 and the impact on this year's celebrations and last year's as well? What are some of the traditional ways in which the 14th of July, Bastille Day, is observed or celebrated in France?
Well, there are two main events traditionally. There is a military parade. Unlike with Jamaica, we have our Grand Gala and it's very civil and everybody's enjoying it themselves. In France, it's a military parade, so they show off their latest airline armory, latest weapons and things like that. And so it's like a demonstration of their strength,
Mm-hmm.
As France is the fifth most powerful nation in the world. Yeah. So that's traditionally held on the morning of July 14th with the president. And the march takes place on the Champs-Élysées, which many of you might have heard that name before. It's the famous shopping avenue here in Paris. And in the evening, we usually have the fireworks at the Eiffel Tower, where it's just an absolutely magnificent display of fireworks and techniques, and it comes out of the Eiffel Tower, and there's a lot of creativity. It's something to see. It's something to behold. Of course, last year we didn't have it. Everything was cancelled last year, and this year, actually, I am currently on the lawns of the Louvre Museum.
Ooh la la!
Yes. So basically, we have a few thousand French people here as well, because the capacity, usually you have up to 1 million people watching the fireworks. That number was limited to 15,000 this year.
In big Paris, how have they been able to do that, to get only 15,000 out of the usual million?
Right, 15,000 within proximity of the Eiffel Tower. So, for example, if you were here where I am, on the lawns of the Louvre, we have probably about 5,000 people here. And along the Seine, people are just, wherever they can get a glimpse of the Eiffel Tower, they are just hanging out and, watching the fireworks. Because you can see it from a distance, to be honest. So the official crowd is 15,000, but people are lining the streets of Paris, getting a glimpse of the fireworks, which just ended, by the way.
Oh. And you're right, because it would have been after, it's minutes to midnight now, is it?
Right, it's 11:45 in the evening at the moment.
Right. But this year, is this year any different from last year? I mean, these are 2 COVID years.
Well, definitely, because as I said, traditionally you have thousands and thousands of people who would go close to the Eiffel Tower. They would picnic all day, for a chance to be close to the fireworks. Whereas this year, only 15,000 were able to, and only 15,000 who are actually completely vaccinated. And that is one of the things that is...
that's another important piece of information. These 15,000 would have had to have been vaccinated. That's more fireworks?
There's a bit of fireworks here where I...
All right. Hold it. One moment. Let's take the break and come back.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:45.
You asked, we listened. You said you wanted back the additional hour. Dear Pastor returns to its usual time from 10 p.m. until midnight.
Oh boy,
Your thoughts on topical issues, relationship matters, questions you want answered, pertinent advice. It all comes together on Dear Pastor with Reverend Dr. Aaron Dumas.
Hello.
Hello, Pastor.
Yes.
Can I ask you a question?
Well, you may ask me a question. I may or may not answer.
He returns to keep your company from 10 p.m. until midnight, right here on Power 106 FM.
¿Qué hora es en espagnol? Son las 5 menos 14. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 5h moins 14. 现在几点了？5点加14分. 14 minutes to 5 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Good afternoon to all working Jamaicans tuned into both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. It's a good time for us to ask ourselves, how productive have we been today? How productive have we been today? Let's continue with more on this extended edition of Diaspora Check-In during both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM, brought to you by Western Union. We are connecting with Monsieur Boucher, Edward Boucher Jr. in Paris, France, on the 14th of July, Bastille Day. It's a national celebration in France, La Fête Nationale en France. And what we were hearing, Edward Boucher Jr., were the fireworks a short while ago. More fireworks, right?
Right. These ones were illegal, if I could say that. It's some of the participants. Well, let's say the patrons who are here who were releasing their own fireworks.
Oh no!
Which, of course, it's quite dangerous to have fireworks in one's possession. So
firearm. Is it firearm or fireworks? Oh, fireworks they're letting off?
It's like, like what we would call a firecracker, but it's actually the real fireworks lighting in the sky.
Oh.
So, which is quite dangerous, to be honest.
Right, because it has to be administered in a particular way.
It has to be administered in a particular way.
Right. But are people dispersing, or are they planning to fet the night away in Paris?
Well, a number of people have already left, but we have some who are playing music. We have others who are dancing. We have some who are just lingering, really. So you could say that it's really warm. It's really, really warm tonight. And so people are just enjoying the nice weather here.
What about your fellow Jamaicans in France? Did you manage to link up with any of those today in Paris?
Not today, unfortunately, because it rained a lot last night. So I wouldn't have thought that it would be this beautiful today.
So you didn't plan for it?
But we do have a link up this Saturday. Jamaican after work here in Paris.
Link up when? We missed that. Say that again. Link up when?
This Saturday evening in Paris. We're going to be having our Jamaican after work where people come, eat their Jamaican food. We're having a buffet for only €10. So it's we're celebrating the start of the summer holidays pretty much. And that's pretty much the last event because I am hoping to be in Jamaica sometime next week, to to enjoy the summer sun of Jamaica.
Well. We're happy for you. That's good.
There's no place like home.
That's right. Well, we look forward to welcoming you home as usual. Always a good to be on Jamaican soil, and we certainly want to wish you all the best in that regard. But just before we let you go, what level of protocols are in place now in Paris? What I know you have different tiers, TIERS. What's it? Where are you at now?
All right. So there's a lot of mixed signals, even coming from the government. So recently we were told that the wearing of masks was no longer necessary outside. So most people now are no longer wearing masks outside, but once they enter a building, they wear the mask. But then we're also now being told, as of 2 nights now, that they're going to be demanding more and more of the COVID passport, vaccine passport, to be able to, go to restaurants or nightclubs or festivals or to the different events. So people have to prove that they have been vaccinated and that they have a recent negative COVID test. And I think the government is also planning to, because at the moment PCR tests are free in France, so they're planning to have those people pay for those in order to sort of force people to get vaccinated. Now they have made it compulsory for members of the health sector to be vaccinated. Because a number of people, are hesitant towards taking the vaccine. So they're starting to crack down a little bit more on that and demand that more and more people get the vaccine, which is the only real weapon we have against the COVID virus at the moment.
Is there any I'm just trying to get an understanding with respect to the protocols, but when it comes to the vaccine itself, the take up, how big a problem is vaccine hesitancy in France?
It is a big problem. It is a big problem because there are vaccine centers pretty much in every community, and a number of vaccines have had to be thrown away because people are not going in to get the vaccine because a lot of skepticism here for some reason or another. I myself got the vaccine about 2 months ago, and it was okay for me, but I know even within the Jamaica community here, there's a number of people who are refusing to be vaccinated. So we're heading towards a potential social conflict in the future between those who have been vaccinated, those who are refusing to take it, you know. The government does insist that they're not forcing anyone to take it, but it seems as if they're going to try to make...
to coerce
yeah,
and
exactly.
cajole. I see.
It. So, including for those who would like to travel or, you know, they're now demanding that people be vaccinated.
Yeah, isn't there a Euro pass? Is that what it's called? There's a...
Right. They for a long time, they didn't want to call it that, a vaccine passport, because they know people are hesitant, you know, there are a number of people who think it's the mark of the beast and things like that.
Yes.
But now it seems as if they're going towards that European passport, as they call it.
Well, we'll see how that goes. And for you, what kind of day has Bastille Day 2021 been for you?
So it was quite nice, actually. The fireworks this year, the theme was freedom and liberty, and it was quite interesting, the play with the colors of the French flag. C'était pas mal du tout. It was really good. Really good. And it's, as I said, the weather is quite nice, so, you know, I'm not in a rush to head back home. I'm just taking my time.
Well, enjoy the evening. Who knows? Enjoy. Continue to enjoy. And thank you so much for spending a few minutes to give us just a taste, just a sneak peek into Paris at this time of the night, going into morning. 5 minutes to midnight in Paris right now on this Bastille Day. Thanks as usual, Edward Boucher Jr. We are indebted to you for always keeping us in the loop as far as happenings in France, whether in the Jamaican community or the broader French society. Thank you so much.
Merci beaucoup. Mon plaisir.
De rien. Au revoir. And once again, bonne fête nationale. Thank you. Thank you very much. And a message here from Lady Jean in Monigue, St. Anne. The original. Lady Jean says, Dervan, on the matter of Miss Mervis and her conversations with God, let us not be judgmental with her. We don't know. The prophets of old were laughed at. They were scorned, some killed. Noah was thought a fool until the floods came. God does communicate with people, just that some people won't say that he speaks to them, perhaps out of fear. Thank you very much for your message, Lady Jean in Monigue, St. Anne. All the very best to you, and thanks for staying in touch with us. Who is this now? Taki Lemqua says, bless up on the downside of the afternoon, Dervan, and all on board in the mix. Greetings to you too, Taki Lemqua. Thank you very much. And just before we go, this one says, hi, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. I think the government had setting with the doctors or is it settled or settled you meant? Settled with the doctors, because I went to the clinic last week and this particular doctor was behaving rude and roughing up the patients. If they are not satisfied, stay at them yard or find another job. You can't be roughing up patients. Well, just take out your camera. Take out your camera and capture the, well, perhaps you didn't, but, or take a note, get the doctor's name, report the doctor. Yeah, the people must be held accountable for their actions. Can we thank you once again for the privilege of serving you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story, for today, Wednesday, the 14th of July, Bastille Day 2021. The moving finger writes, and having writ moves on, nor all your piety nor wit shall lure it back to cancel half a line, nor all your tears wash out a word of it. All things being well, Both Sides of the Story returns tomorrow afternoon, 2 to 5. Till then, this is Dervan Malcolm reminding all of us that every day is an opportunity to do better than yesterday. Take care.
Diaspora Check-In during Both Sides of the Story was brought to you by GK Western Union. Receive money directly into your bank account today.
Has been too long that you think that love is only for the lucky and the strong. Just in the winter, far beneath the bitter snow lies the seed that with the sun's love in the spring becomes the rose.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
5 o'clock.
News, comprehensive, powerful, and credible.
Power 106 FM now presents a simulcast of Radio Jamaica's News at 5.
Good afternoon. I am Dervan Gordon. Coming up in the news segment of Beyond the Headlines today, Wednesday, July 14, 2021. With gas prices set to go up for an 8th consecutive week, the parliamentary opposition says the increases have placed Jamaicans at a breaking point. Anti-corruption watchdog says delay in reviewing the Integrity Commission Act is puzzling and unacceptable. Funeral homes demand monies owed to them by government